What motorcycle habits do we have? Watch this video. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. Hope you're all well. So what motorcycling habits do we have? What biker rituals do you have? So I can only speak for myself on what I do and the kind of things that I've even noticed that I do. And I know it's a habit. I just do it without thinking it. So let's just say I'm riding my bike anywhere. I could be going to see a friend. I could be parking on their drive. I could be parking in a garage. I could be going to the shops, to the train, whatever it is. Work, whatever it is. Whenever I park my bike up, I always put the steering lock on. Now, I never used to, years ago, never used to. And the bike, there was never anything happen to it. But I don't know why. I just got into putting the steering lock on. And this was years ago. And it's just something that I always do. I always put the steering lock on. So, quite a few people have said to me, when I park my bike up, oh, nobody's going to steal that bike. And I'd say, oh, no. It's just habit. I know nothing's going to happen. I could be at a bike rally, right? I could be at a bike event. Nobody's going to steal your bike there. Well, maybe they would. I don't know. But most places, most biker places, they're usually sacred, really. I don't think many bike thefts go on there. But then again, no, I have heard of that as well. So yeah, but I always put my steering lock on. It's just one of those things I do. I think later on, I learned that if you don't put your steering lock on, that insurance companies can push back on any bike theft and avoid payouts as well. I'm not sure how true that is. Let us know in the comments below. But that's what I heard after the fact, after I'd started doing it. So once I heard that, then I just religiously started doing it, and it's become habitual. But there are so many other habits that I have, and I'm not even sure why. Again, another thing is down to security. Whenever I bring my bike in to the garage, I always put the steering lock on. I always hook up the battery charger, the trickle charger, the bike tender, and I always put a disc lock on the front disc, the brake disc, and it's basically a big security padlock. I don't go for these motorcycle disc locks. I just go for a big security padlock. That's become a ritual that I have now. I just can't get out of it. Now, another ritual that I started, well, I suppose I've always had it. That's why I think it's always a ritual. And a couple of times when I haven't done it, it just feels so weird. So I don't always wear motorcycle specific trousers. I mostly wear a motorcycle jacket with armor on it, but sometimes I don't. I wear a biker shirt with armor in it as well. So I don't always wear a biker jacket. I wear a biker shirt. But it's very rare these days to wear any kind of trousers other than normal jeans. I mean, I do, but unless I'm going on a longer journey or unless I'm riding in pretty crappy weather. But what I always do is put on some boots. Religiously, ever since I started riding on the road, I would have been about 17. Always wear boots, always wear boots. And it's almost got to the point in my younger days where people say, you're going to die with those boots on. I say, yeah, because I'll go everywhere just wearing boots. In fact, that's my favorite kind of footwear is a boot. So getting on a bike, it's just a functional thing. I always get on a bike. So it's no hardship for me to put on my boots, put on my bike jacket. It's just where I keep just where I keep everything in the garage right next to my bike. In fact, I wear boots anyway, so it's a no-brainer, really. But so that's another ritual that I have. Now, lots of other people that have these rituals they've got to wash their bike religiously, or they've got to polish it religiously. I've never had that, thankfully. I've never got into that thing. I'll wash my bike occasionally if it's dirty. I don't get, when I first got it, I was religious, trying to keep it clean. Then I soon realised that was never going to happen. So I just left that by the wayside. Now, the next thing I'm about to say, you're probably going to know this, okay? You'll probably experience it yourself, and you probably do it yourself to some form or another. But whenever I park my bike up, whatever it is, I walk away. As I'm walking away, I'll always have one look back just to make sure it's still there and make sure I'm just saying goodbye to the bike. It's just something I do. I just walk away and have a quick look to say, and then I'll walk away. It's almost like I'm saying goodbye. Maybe you're the same. Maybe you always look back on your bike, but that's something I always do. And also, if I go into a cafe or something like that, I will religiously try and sit in a place where I can see my bike. That's something I want to have eyes on it where I can see my bike. And I suppose this sounds like I'm a bit paranoid, right? That I always need to look at it. It's got to be secure. It's got to be safe. But that's just something I do. It's just something that I need to be looking at it, not purely from a security point of view. This is actually from an aesthetic point of view. I just like looking at it. So maybe that's something I do, and maybe you do the same, or maybe you don't. Now, another thing that I do is anytime I go to the gas station, petrol station, garage here, and I fill up with petrol in the tank, then I get to the point where I can't fill up anymore, and I always wiggle the bike. So I'll always wiggle the bike, I'll stand next to it, and I'll sort of knock the bike so all the air comes out of the tank, so it slops around there. The level goes down, I fill it up a bit more, and I keep on doing that until I literally can't get any more. So I fill it up right up to the gills. So that's every time I fill up, I always give the bike a wiggle, get the air out of the tank so I can fill it up as much as I can. Okay, so another thing that I do, if I've got something strapped to my bike, whether it's on the rack, whether it's strapped down tent, camping equipment, or whether I'm carrying another helmet or anything, whether I've got something on the back, I'll be riding along and I'll always reach around behind and I'll just tap behind just to make sure it's on there. I don't necessarily look behind, but I just tap around just to make sure. And I'll do that about 4 or 5 times during the journey, religiously. If I know I've got something on the back, I just tap back and make sure it's still there. Okay, and finally, probably one of the weirdest ones that I do, and maybe you do this too, I don't know, but whenever I'm riding the bike, I fill the bike up right to the very top. And I don't just get to half a tank and think, okay, I'm going to fill up. No, I go all the way to the very bottom, to the reserve range, and then I fill it all the way back up with fresh fuel. I never fill up a half a tank. It's always got to be an empty tank, or as near as I can get it. And then I'll go to the nearest petrol station, garage, gas station, whatever, and then top it up. I don't know why. I don't know why this is a thing. I don't know why I'm secretly thinking I should have a fresh fuel in there. I'm not sure. And I always fill it up to the gills. If I had to leave a bike in the garage for a few weeks, let's just say whatever, I was dropping off for the winter, or I was going to be using another bike over winter, and I was going to just lay that bike up for a few months, then I would always fill it up with fuel right to the very top. And, you know, if it's going to be old fuel, then I'll drain it out and then just put fresh fuel in it. But in terms of refueling it, or, you know, topping up with the fuel, I always top up an empty tank rather than a half full tank. It's just something that I do. And finally, again, this isn't just another ritual that I do. Every time I go to sit on the bike, I put my hands on the tank. I just put my hands on the tank just for a second, and sometimes it's very quick, and I kind of do that, and then I put my hands on the handlebars. I just do that, and then away I go. Again, sometimes I catch myself doing it, and I think, what am I doing? And then I just go to the hand grips and then push the starter. Other times I've already done it before I've got on the bike, so I go to push the bike and I put my hands on the tank, and then I go. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a physical thing that I'm I don't know, but anyway, some oddities going on. I know there are lots of rituals out there people have on their bike. People, you know, hang guardian bells and all this sort of stuff. I mean, I don't go into any of that. These are just personal rituals that I do, personal habits that I have. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm sure there are lots of other little ticks and twitches that I have when I'm riding my bike. I really don't know, but let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, keep on watching videos. Don't forget to go to the website, RevelatorAlf.com, the new look website for all motorcycle books. And with that, catch you again, another video coming very soon. Bye now.